Hey F1 fans, my goodness, they made us wait 5 weeks for this next race, but it's finally here. We finally had the Miami race, and here we are to take a look at who moved up and who moved down in the Drivers and Constructors Championships in Formula One. I don't know about you, but I always forget where they were last time, so I love seeing side by side and seeing what changed. So here we go, let's take a look. We're comparing Japan, which was the last race, again, 5 weeks ago, with Miami, which just passed this weekend. And boy, was it a race. There was so much that happened. Let's start looking at the swaps. Okay, so Norris got ahead of Hamilton. Not terribly surprising. McLaren was one of the big movers after this break. It was as long as a summer break where everyone did a lot of development to try to get ahead of various abysmal starts to the season. So yeah, McLaren did a great job, Ferrari did a great job, and Red Bull did. So there you go, no surprise. Also, poor Lewis got dinged very early in the race by Colapinto. So he actually carried damage, and he was never gonna, unfortunately, race right up at the top because of that. Okay, I'm forgetting how to use my app. All right, Max got ahead of two other drivers, Ollie Bearman and Pierre Gasly. Poor Pierre Gasly. Wait a minute. Okay, no, that wasn't Colapinto again. It was Liam Lawson. They were working on, they were battling, but Liam Lawson was unable to turn. He lost some power unit thing actually happened to his car. He had to retire, and so he went right into Gasly, but the way the cars are rigged, he went right under Gasly and kind of popped the car up. And so poor Gasly took a whole entire spin and went straight into the barrier's back end first. He was okay, but that was quite a brutal crash, and of course took him right out of the race, so he got nothing. I was just sitting there wondering why Gasly went from 15 points to 16, but it's there was a sprint race in there as well. And I'm not going to go into all the details. You've seen it all, you've heard it all the recaps and such. But yeah, that's why I don't have to worry that my app was wrong. But yeah, so Max moved up. He said he finally had a car that he can feel some confidence in and he can drive. So that was really good. But he proceeded to spin right on lap one because he just, he was trying to fight as he does. He fights hard to keep his position. Qualified in P2, needed to keep it, and he fought super well and super hard, but he flat spotted his tire and amazingly spun in the fray on near the beginning of lap one between all those cars that are also fighting and vying for position, completed a full 360, continued driving, having fallen back to, I'm not sure if it's P8 or P10, and everyone around him somehow got away with it. Like, mind-blowing. That an F1 car can do a 360 at the start of a race that's crowded around a corner and everyone comes out okay. So that was Max moving up 2 spots in the championship. Let's see, what else do we have? We have, well, Saints is the one, this pack stays the same, but everyone else is basically shifted down because Colapinto had actually a very decent result this weekend. And I think he did better than Gasly at most of the parts of this weekend, and so there's his reward. He makes a big jump from P16 to P11 in the championship, having 7 points. That gets him out of the 1 point area. We have a little swap here. Nico Hulkenberg again with bad luck. Nothing to show for the weekend, whereas the Williams did in fact improve some, and Alex got 1 point to show for it. So there is a swap there. And then everyone else is the same. Let's see, Kimi, amazing, right? Wins his 3rd Grand Prix in a row. He's our championship leader by a full 20 points over his teammate. George, that was not a lucky call on his part, so he had to kind of fight back from that, which he did well, but he got less points than Kimi, and Kimi beat him. And then poor Charles, he was right up there in P1 for a moment because he got the best start out of a lot of them. And then, what was it? They pitted him early. He's like, why did you guys do that? It might still rain. We're just going to have to pit again. You guys should have asked me. But nonetheless, he keeps fighting. And then towards the end, what did he do? He spun. Yeah. He was, I guess his tires were getting old like everyone, I don't know. He spun and he lost a whole bunch of positions. He just was limping. And not only did that ruin his race, but because his car wasn't working very well, he was having trouble, as I understand it, turning to the right. And as such, he cut some corners just to get his car back to the end of the race. And that cost him a 20-second penalty after the race, dropping him all the way down to P8 from where he finished. So he had a very eventful race, and thereby both Ferraris didn't finish very well. Piastri did well, surprisingly didn't move up, but he definitely did well, and you can see the point differences shifting. Liam Lawson, good, in spite of knocking out Gasly and not getting points in the main race. Sainz holding, and everyone else holding, with the Cadillacs and the poor Astons still sitting there at the back. If we look at our gaps, we've got some pretty widening gaps up front here. And then we've got a big gap that Verstappen's going to have to overcome if he wants to have anything else to do with the front runners. But this may be where Red Bull sits right now. And I should mention poor Hajar actually ran into the wall. And he was really beating himself up about that. And so he, got 0 points on the race, went nowhere, and actually, was one of the bunch that moved down in the championship. So not showing what the Red Bull can do due to just an error, because it was going quite well before that. He was at least in the points. And then with no further ado, let's take a look at how the teams are doing. So we've got quite a swap out here, 2 spots being swapped. Alpine staying even in spite of everything that's going on, because Colapinto had a great weekend and Gasly did not. But yeah, Red Bull jumps and Haas falls. Yeah. You really didn't hear much in the way of commentary, both with Ollie Behrman and with Ocon. They're just... they weren't having an eventful race, and it wasn't that many points either, because no points were to be had by Haas. So yeah, they dropped down a bit. We'll see how they can recover and hold. I understand they didn't bring updates this weekend. And then Audi dropped down. More bad luck for Hulky. No great results for Bortoletto. But Williams actually seeming to be in a better place than before. So grabbing 3 points from the low end of the points there. Everyone else being the same. So we already mentioned Mercedes still leads, although it's tougher for them. They have to fight for it now. Ferrari doing great, McLaren doing especially great, and Red Bull stepping up into, I think, a firm 4th place, but a 4th place nonetheless. This is not going to be a season that Red Bull wins unless things drastically change. Everyone else kind of hanging out in the middle, the Alpines, the Racing Bulls, and as we said, towards the back. Closeness in points, which I forgot to do over on the driver's side, but that's okay. We have, not really, like for Cadillac to get 2 points, that's actually not a small gap. This is a gap, like if anyone manages to eke out 1 point, that will be closed. I guess there's closeness up around this area, not that much really. So yeah, not really a lot of closeness. Maybe we consider this to be close, and yes, McLaren is on a tear. Miami was a really good track for them, but if they're really that good, maybe next track will be good for them too. So wow, that's where we stand. We've definitely had some shuffles there. It's really fun to see the season evolving especially after this long break where it's almost like a reset where anything could have happened after the extra 5 weeks of development and work on the cars. Our next race is, can you believe they're making us wait 2 weeks, not just one, after we waited 5 weeks for this race? But anywho, the next race is in 2 weeks in Montreal. I almost said Miami, in Canada. So we'll be back for that. There will be some traveling on this end, so I may be timely and I may actually have to miss one. We'll see. I'll try to get them all done because that was my intent for this year, and it's super fun with the new app. Let me just do one more thing before we go as a little bonus. I can also go and compare how last year ended with where we are now in Miami after the second restart, if we'll call it that. Check it out. So we've had Mercedes up, McLaren down, Red Bull down from P3 and up for Ferrari. Very nice shuffling at the front. And then we've had a bunch of shuffling towards the back with notable drop for Williams, notable drop for Aston, very notable rise for Alpine, decent rise for Haas, and we already said Williams fell down, and then kind of not too much movement for Racing Bulls. There you have it. We can do that too. So as always, if you found it useful, please like the video and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and definitely share it with your other F1 friends so that the channel can grow, because that's why I do it, and it just makes me so happy to see if other people like this kind of content as well. And till next time in Montreal.